Welcome to the Money Smart for Adults, Module 14, Disasters, Financial Preparation, and Recovery. We're going to go through this instructor guide and highlight how you can facilitate this training. As in all other modules, it starts out here with a content page, giving you all the information relating to this module, listed by section and page number so that you know exactly where to find things here. Background information for instructors, as with other modules, is exactly the same. It starts out with a reference to the tools that you'll be using to deliver the training, including the guide to presenting Money Smart for Adults. The training preparation checklist is to make sure that you have everything that's going to equip you to have a successful training. The materials you may need, as in other modules, this is a checklist of all that you're going to need to deliver the training, including the instructor guide, participant guide, PowerPoint slides. Now, regarding the participant guide, if it's a challenge for you to give copies to everyone in your training, please refer them to the online version or some other solutions that may be appropriate. Optional materials, such as the parking lot for questions and supplies for any optional introductory activity that you may be doing, should be on hand. Understanding the icons. This section is the same for all the other modules in the Money Smart for Adults training. You can reference them here as a refresher if you need to. The module purpose is to help participants financially prepare for and recover from disasters. This module also includes how to explain why preparing for disasters is part of financial management and financial health, offers steps to prepare financially for disasters, and offers steps to recover financially from disasters. Looking at the module at a glance table, it is estimated that you're going to need 1 hour and 40 minutes to cover the entire module, not including breaks or any optional introductory activities. The module at a glance table lists the sections, the key takeaways, the purpose, objectives, and the time estimates all laid out here for you. And as you can see here, you can look at the different sections and determine based on the timing what might be appropriate for your audience. Module opening. As in every module in the Money Smarts for Adults training, you're going to complete a few tasks such as welcoming participants as they arrive, introduce yourself, ask them to sign in, ensure any requested reasonable accommodations are in place, and make any necessary adjustments. And once you're ready to begin the training, ask participants to complete the pre-training survey. Establish a flip chart poster for a parking lot and inform your participants that it's for questions, concerns, ideas, and resources that you'll address during breaks or at the end of training. And if time permits, start your training with an optional introductory activity. Now, I actually highly recommend that you do this because it's a great way to get participants energized and ready to learn. Now, let's get into section 1. Preparing financially for disasters. This time estimate, 35 minutes. Now, here's what we're doing in this particular section. Our objectives is to identify ways that disasters can create financial challenges. Identify ways to prepare financially for disasters, including getting insurance, setting money aside in an emergency savings fund, keeping cash in a safe place, signing up for a direct deposit, considering online or mobile banking, keeping financial documents in a safe place. This is what we want to make sure that we emphasize during the introduction of section 1. Now, as we go through this, here is the actual format. Now, we're going to present information. It's going to take you about a minute according to the estimate. You are going to reference page 3 in the participant guide. You're going to show slide 3, which is the title slide, and say, we will discuss steps you can take to prepare for disasters that might affect your finances. Then immediately after that, you're going to show the next slide, slide 4, which is the key takeaway. It's save time, money, and stress when a disaster strikes by making financial preparations. So you're laying this out right away. So at the beginning, they're getting the key takeaway right now. We're opening this particular section with this key takeaway. Now you're going to lead a discussion for about 5 minutes on how disasters can affect the finances. So you're going to ask, notice the the icon, the question mark, ask. So you are going to ask them the question, what are some examples of disasters? Then you're going to write their responses on a flip chart or a whiteboard, and then you're going to say the bullet points that's listed there. Starting out with, when many people think of disasters, they often think first of natural disasters such as earthquake, floods, hurricanes, and tornadoes. But then the other bullet points gets into some other examples, and you want to do this. So what I'm sharing with you here is how to actually flow with this content. So if you really study and familiarize yourself with this, you'll be able to just roll this right off of your tongue as you're looking at the instructor guide, as they're looking at the screen. They're also listening to the question prompt. They're thinking, you're actually writing. I mean, it's all flowing together at this point, and that's what we want. Now you're going to continue on, and then it goes into another question. See, we're continuing on. Ask, what are some ways that disasters create financial challenges? Do, write down their responses. Okay, let them take notes on page 3. Okay, and then we are definitely moving forward. Again, we are actually, engaging them right away. Your participants are doing stuff right at the beginning of this particular presentation. You're going to show slide 5. Slide 5 is going to get into how you can add additional content that maybe wasn't contributed when you were writing down the answers from the question prompt that you posed. So again, the question was, what are some ways that disaster creates financial challenges? They're going to give you their answers. You're going to survey their answers, but then you're also going to look at your list here in your guide, and you're going to contribute these answers if they're not already contributed. Now, they might not contribute it word for word, and that's okay. If the answer's close, okay, if what they said is close to one of these bullet points, reiterate that, and then what you want to do is add some of the ones that were not mentioned. That is key. This is really going to help increase the learning in the room. Now, the next area gets into preparing in advance for disasters. Okay, here we go. It's on page 4 in the participant guide. You're going to say, if a disaster occurs, the government and disaster relief organizations will try to help. This is very important for them to understand that. Now, notice you're saying that before you advance the slide. Now it says show slide 6, where it gives you the URL for ready.gov, which is a great place to prepare for more generally for disasters. I strongly encourage you to visit that site after today's training. So you're saying that. You're giving them the prompt, kind of like a homework assignment. Go look at that website. And then you're going to get into your discussion based on the bullet points. Let's consider ways to prepare financially for a disaster. Then give some tips. Keep in mind that no one is ever 100% prepared for a disaster. We're going to talk about some actions you can take to be better prepared financially. Getting insurance you need, set aside money in an emergency savings fund, keep some cash in a safe place, signing up for a direct deposit, considering arranging for online mobile banking, and keeping financial documents and information in a safe place. Notice those bullet points. Now what you're doing, you're really driving in some direct things that they can do right away, supporting the actual topic that we're talking about. Then we move on. Now you're going into presenting information, get the insurance you need. Notice you have a box here. It says, consider inviting a guest speaker with expertise on insurance to present this part. This is going to be so powerful if you're able to do that. If you're able to get someone to come in and to speak to insurances to augment this topic, that is just going to add value to your training. Show slide 7. Slide 7 gets into get the insurance you need. So after the person has made their comments from their perspective, you're going to give the insurance perspective from the Money Smart for Adults Module 14 content. And then you're going to say those bullet points that are listed there. Okay, so you see how this is flowing again. We are optionally bringing in a professional so that they can give that perspective on insurance. And at the same time, we're going to come right back and give what the content says from the Money Smart perspective. Now we're going to ask a question here, so don't forget this. What types of insurance could help you be better prepared for a disaster? Then they're going to tell you, you're going to write down their responses. And again, as with the other area, you're going to be recording their answers. You're going to survey the list here that we have inside the instructor guide. And if they don't mention all the things here, you're going to contribute these as part of the discussion. Now, this is a great place for an apply it. So this is an activity you're going to lead. It says it's for 1 minute. You're going to show slide 5. I'm sorry. They're going to be on page 5 in their participant guide. You're going to show slide 9. So pardon me on that. So you're going to show slide 9, and you're going to say, the goal is to have enough insurance coverage to help to cover the cost of damage to your house, vehicle, and other valuable property, and to provide temporary housing if needed. Turn to the apply what types of insurance do I need on page 5 in your participant guide. You can use this table after today's training to list the types of insurance you have and might need in a disaster. This can help you be prepared to shop for insurance online or talk with an insurance agent about what you may need, what it covers, and how much it will cost. So that's what you're saying to them as they're looking at the slide, as they're seeing the page 5 applied information, and then you have this note for you. Time permitting, review this apply with participants during the training and answer any questions that they may have. The apply in the participant guide has larger boxes. Now these boxes here are designed for them to write in directly. So it gives you a glance of what they're seeing in their particular apply it, and you're going to give them time to go through that. And so notice what it says here. Again, familiarize yourself with what is listed here in these apply it so that you can help facilitate the learning, and they are processing the information. They might have questions about these things, but you have the content here. You're looking at exactly what they are looking at. Okay, and so we'll keep going through here. The next section, set money aside in an emergency savings fund. So you're going to show slide 10, and there's a question again. Why have an emergency savings fund? You know the drill. Write their answers, and if they don't contribute all the suggestions that you have in your guide, then you actually add that to the discussion. Show slide 11. Slide 11 is building an emergency savings fund. You're going to say a few things about that, and you're going to really, again, emphasize the bullet points there, and then notice the note here. Now, this is something that's very interesting. Here's a tip. Leverage the other modules in the entire curriculum to help support what you're training on in your current module. So, for example, here's your note. Module 5, your savings, contains more information about why and how to save. In particular, Section 3, Saving for Unexpected Expenses, discusses how to plan for an emergency savings fund and includes an apply resource for building an emergency savings fund. Consider including part of Module 5 in your training, depending upon the needs and interests of participants. So yes, you can certainly bring in content from your other modules. This is a suggestion. Module 5, what a perfect way to bring that in to help support what you're talking about. So you're going to see this throughout these and other modules where you're looking at additional content that's really going to support it. So what is this really about? This is about emphasizing what's important, again, to solidify the learning. That's what we want, to solidify the learning. Now, moving on. Now we're getting into keeping some cash in a safe place. Show slide 12. Show them what that's about. You're going to say the bullet points that's listed there. You know the drill. We've been doing this for a while now. Then you're going to actually just emphasize what's important. Now notice this bullet point here on page 21. It says, however, this is very important. Do not keep more cash at home than necessary for your immediate needs after a disaster. So sometimes you're going to be giving them little points like this. What I want you to think about as a trainer is when you're emphasizing these points that the curriculum is saying this is important, then make sure you emphasize it in a manner that stands out. So you may want to change your inflection of your voice at this point. You want to make sure that everyone pays attention. One technique you can use is say, everybody, take a look at this. So when you prompt that type of entrance for information, it's going to get everyone's attention. And you can say, this is important, just like it's listed in the script. You're saying, this is important, give it to them, give them all the bullet points, and then pause. Now, what are we doing here? We're actually helping them to actually anchor this thing that you said was very important. You distinguish it by, again, bringing attention to it before you say it. You say it with emphasis and then pause. That pause really is very effective. So let's keep going. Next area, present information, 2 minutes, sign up for direct deposit. Now we're showing slide 13 about signing up for direct deposit. And you're going to be talking about those bullet points there and what it means for them to do that. Now, your note to instructor, again, now it's listing module 2. You can bank on it. That contains information about opening an account at a financial institution, considering including part of module 2 in your training, depending upon the needs and interest of your participants. So again, we're offering another bit of content from the Money Smart training into our module 14. So we brought in module 5 content. Now we're bringing in module 2 content. This is powerful. This is actually really creating a robust training experience, which is exactly what you want. Now we're going to move on to considering arranging for online or mobile banking. Take 2 minutes in this section. Show slide 14 and say those things that are listed there. Say those things and then keep going. Now notice it doesn't give an opportunity for you to ask a question here, which is okay. We're giving information. We are presenting information. So we're just delivering it. That's what we're doing. Then we're going to go to the next area. Keep financial documents and information in a safe place. Show slide 15. Again, you're going to say the items there. You look at that content and say it very convincingly. Keep going. Now we're going to continue again with emergency financial first aid kit. Okay, show slide 16. Now, you're going to say this again. Now, you're actually identifying a resource here, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA. So you're going to be talking about the Emergency Financial First Aid Kit, known as EFAC. You're going to talk about FEMA's online materials and to reference the FEMA.gov website. So notice your box here that says, if you wish to cover EFAC in greater depth, consider printing copies of the Emergency Financial First Aid Kit. Strengthen your financial preparedness for disasters and emergencies. FEMA's website also includes slides about EFAC that you can actually use during your training. So again, you can use other content. So are you getting the pattern here? The pattern here is saying you can use these other things, whether it's other content sections from the Money Smart training or whether it's a great resource that we see here, like the EFAC information, that you're bringing that into today's training. Now we're moving on to the section closing. So you're going to show slide 17, and here it is. You remember this from the opening. We are reiterating the key takeaway. Save time, money, and stress when a disaster strikes by making financial preparations. Now we move on to section 2. Now, this is all about recovering financially from disasters. So this is going to take approximately 45 minutes. Your objectives: list actions to help with financial recovery from disasters, including actions related to their property other than their home and their home, income or job, bills, expenses, money. Know where to get help recovering financially from disasters, be able to spot scams that target people recovering from disasters, and know how to start adjusting their financial picture after disasters. Very important stuff in terms of the road to recovery. So you're going to do as we did before. You're going to present information. You're going to present that key takeaway. You're going to discuss how to recover financially from a disaster, including the steps to take and things to avoid. Now, slide 19, key takeaway. Develop an initial plan to recover financially from a disaster. Watch out for scams. Emphasize that. Okay. Again, we want them to recover financially while at the same time watching out for scams. You know that we've had a history of disasters that has happened around the country, and you know that brings out certain elements where there's people that might be trying to implement scams around the country because of the disasters. And so we really want to emphasize that part as well, that people need to watch out for these scams. Now, your lead activity, okay, you're coming in. This is a brainstorm, 20 minutes. Think about this, 20 minutes for this brainstorm, the steps to financial recovery. It's on page 10 in their participant guide. So you're going to say these things. You're going to talk about after a disaster, your first priority is making sure you and your loved ones are safe and secure. So that's what you're emphasizing here. There's also a website, disasterassistance.gov. You want to point that out to them so that they can know that they can get more information there to respond or recover from disasters that may impact their community. And then the next bullet point, we are focused in this training on the steps you can take to recover financially from disasters after you've addressed basic safety and security needs. Okay, so notice the emphasis on the recover financially part and the emphasis on the after they've addressed basic safety and security needs. Those are bolded in the instructor guide for a reason. It is meant to be emphasized. So again, change your inflection, make sure that you emphasize it in a manner that stands out. Then you're going to move on to showing slide 20. You're going to break them into small groups. Remember, this is a brainstorm activity. You're going to assign each group one of the 5 topics below. If you have more than 5 groups, assign the same topic to more than one group. And so here we go. So we have property, home, income, job, bills, expenses, and protecting your money. You're going to say, let's think together in small groups about what you can do to recover financially from disasters. You're going to give them 3 minutes to brainstorm things that they can do to recover financially from the disaster related specifically to the topic that were assigned to their group. So that's what you're stating. Okay, you're giving every group an opportunity to think about that. And then after 3 minutes is up, okay, you're going to ask each group to present their topic with the property other than a home, then show the relevant slide for that topic, and then share any ideas that the group did not mention. So you're starting out with this first group, and you're going to show that slide and let them go ahead and do what they're going to do to present that information. And let them know that they can take notes on pages 10 and 11 in their participant guide. Then you're going to show slide 21. So this is about property other than a home, and if there are things that they did not mention, you're going to contribute that to the conversation. Same thing you're going to do for slide 22 for the group that's going to do home. Okay, you're going to go ahead and mention those ideas there that are listed and then continue on. Same thing with slide 23 on income and job. Slide 24, bills and expenses. Slide 25, now we're getting into protecting your money. And then again, you're contributing information if it's not mentioned by the group. And so once that's all done, you're going to say, all right, let's be proactive. You're going to have them talk about being proactive, what they can do about this, because now we're going to go into an apply it activity. So back to looking at slide 26, it says be proactive if you have any issues with companies you recover from a disaster. First, contact the company directly. If that doesn't produce the desired results, contact the appropriate federal or state regulatory agency for help or guidance. And then offer the websites and phone numbers that are on page 12 in their participant guide. So now that's priming them to do the apply it, which is my steps to financial recovery. You're going to show slide 27, and then you're going to ask them to apply, turn to the apply it, my steps to financial recovery on page 12, and then have them take 2 minutes to start writing down ideas from the discussion that will be important for them in the event of a disaster. Okay, so this is what you're doing. You're really helping them to apply that information. Notice, again, a note to you in the shaded box. A copy of this applies on the next page. The boxes are larger in the participant guide. So again, you get to see exactly what they are looking at in their guide. You are having a look at it in your instructor guide. So continue to present the information as you see here to get help. This next section, financial recovery, resources. You're going to say, let's review a few resources that are especially important for financial recovery. You're doing that while showing slide 29. And then you're going to mention the disasterassistance.gov website in addition to FEMA, the Small Business Administration, and the Department of Agriculture. So now you want to watch out for scams. Show slide 30 and say the bullet points there regarding the scams there. Show slide 31 and give them more information as listed here in the content. And so what we want to do is make sure that we are being very explicit about this information on more tips to avoiding scams. And so as we go through here, we're going to eventually get to this try it activity where they're going to be spotting red flags. And so you're going to ask participants to turn to the try it, spotting the red flags on page 15 in their participant guide. They're going to read the scenario and or ask a volunteer to do so. So you can do that depending upon how you want to do it. You can read it out loud, have them do it, whatever is more comfortable for the actual presentation. So you're going to give a scenario about Phyllis, and Phyllis is going to spot red flags. And so you'll definitely read through the scenario, have everybody really get an understanding of what's being presented, and then you're going to ask the question, if you were Phyllis, would you hire this person? Why or why not? Then you're going to actually start recording down their responses on the chart, and you're going to contribute the other information if it wasn't actually mentioned during the responses from the participants. And then you're going to present information about adjusting your financial picture after the disaster. That's on page 16 in the participant guide, and you're going to say many of the ideas we've discussed relate to the days immediately following the disaster. But after those days are past and you're in a more stable situation, you will need to adjust how your finances have changed as a result of the disaster. And then you'll give the examples there. Then there is a note to instructor. Time permitting, ask participants for their ideas about how to adjust to a new financial situation after a disaster. Then you can add the ideas below that weren't mentioned. And so that's what you're going to do on slide 34. And then you're going to say, here are some things that you can do to adjust your financial picture so that it reflects your post-disaster reality. Then you're going to list those items there, and then you have another note. It says some of these topics are covered in more detail in other modules of Money Smart for Adults. Consider including sections of these modules in the training. So much like we did before with Module 5 and Module 2, now this is saying you can certainly have these other modules. Module 4, your spending and saving plan. Okay, Module 8, managing debt. And then, of course, Module 6, credit reports and scores, to really add to, again, the content and the learning for this particular section. And then now we're going to close it out. You're going to go to slide 35, and you're going to mention the key takeaway. Develop an initial plan to recover financially from a disaster. Watch out for scams. So now, once you've done that, now we're moving into the module closing, where you're going to have them remember the key takeaways from the entire module. So there will be a reiteration of the first takeaway from the first section, and then, of course, the second takeaway from section number 2. And then you're going to move them into taking action. You're going to slide 36, and you're going to say you're more likely to take action if you commit to taking action now. Consider writing down what you intend to do because of what was covered during this training session. Then give them a few minutes to do that. Okay, and so they're going to be answering the questions: what will I do? How will I do it? And will I share my plans with anyone? If so, then who? And then you're going to be doing something here. You're going to ask participants if they want to share what they're going to do or how they're going to do it. Remind them about the activities in the participant guide that they can complete after the training. Refer them to where to get more information, and that's listed on page 18 in their participant guide. And then now, if this is going to be the end of the training, you're going to thank them for attending and administer the post-training survey. Now, a note to you about that post-training survey. It's on page 21 in their guide, but it says after the training ends, you can ask participants to complete the post-training survey in the back of their participant guide. You may want to give them loose copies if they don't have to tear them out. The knowledge questions are the same as those in the pre-training survey. And of course, the answer key is at the end of the instructor guide. So again, you can decide to compare the post-training survey to the pre-training surveys to estimate the knowledge gains of the entire group for each participant. So just again, just a reiteration of that if you want to compare it, but this is the time to administer that post-training survey. And then you're going to show slide 37. Thank them for attending this Money Start training called Disasters, Financial Preparation, and Recovery. Before you leave, take a few moments to complete the survey. So you're going to do that, and that's what you're going to say as you wrap up the training. And so then once that's done, you're going to collect the surveys as everybody's leaving. You're going to review the answers to the knowledge questions using the answer key on the next page. You can do that. And so you can kind of see where everything is in terms of their answers on this survey versus the one that they did at the beginning. And then as you can see here, there's this, again, a reiteration of the entire Money Smart training for adults. And you'll see, again, this module 14, highlighted in yellow at the bottom of the screen. Every single guide has this in there so that they can see where this particular module fits into the entire training. And so that's going to conclude our walkthrough of the instructor guide for module 14. Thank you very much.